right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. Today, we are live from Downtown Cinemas for another one of these great shows we've been doing over there. We've got a great panel of guests to talk about Screamboat, the IP slasher movie about, of course, Steamboat Willie, the debut of Mickey Mouse, going crazy on a boat and killing people. It's as ridiculous as it sounds, but we had a lot of fun with this one. We are joined by Allie, the Gran Finali, Deborah Richards, and Patrick Wirtz. And also a little later in the conversation, we've got Matt Levy, a producer on the film who happened to be in Las Vegas for CinemaCon and came out to the show. It was great having him there, and great to get some insight from one of the filmmakers. So great conversation coming up here. So before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And with that said, let's get to our conversation about Screamboat. All right, so I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to talk about Screamboat here, but before we get into it, I do want to introduce my panel. Deborah Richards first up, first time on the show. Introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do.
Sure. Hey, guys, my name's Deborah Richards. I'm an independent film director from Las Vegas. My second movie just came out last week called Shaken and Stirred, now available worldwide at flaredocumentary.com.
Absolutely. Allie, the Gran Finali, returning to the show.
Yes.
Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, so I'm the founder of Desert Waves Film Festival here in Vegas, and I also run a podcast called the Unclassified Podcast.
Absolutely. Patrick Wirtz, first time on the show. Introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Patrick, and I'm a producer with 1905 Films and a filmmaking partner with Deborah Richards, and we just finished our second feature, Shaken and Stirred, at flaredocumentary.com. We're very proud of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've worked with all of these people, actually. So happy to have them all on the panel tonight. So going into Screamboat, so this movie, I wanted to do something this week because of CinemaCon, and I was like, what's playing? I mean, we got a Minecraft movie. I didn't really want to do a show on that one. We have Chosen, The Last Supper 2. I was like, we could leave that one aside. Screamboat was coming out, and I was like, I do not know what to expect with this, but this could be a good time if it's done with a tongue firmly, in cheek, and like really just goes for broke with it. And I had a good time with it. I really did not know what to expect going in, but I was laughing in there, and there's plenty of ridiculous Mickey Mouse killing people action going on here. But we'll get into it as we get into the conversation. So for those who haven't heard Piecing It Together before, the way that this show works is we look at a movie through the lens of what movies might have inspired this movie. And, we don't know for sure what was going through the writer and director and everybody's head, but, we kind of go into it with the idea of like, well, maybe some of these movies we're going to bring up could have been an influence, or in a looser sense, maybe it's something that would be a good pairing with this movie. And so we're going to go through a few rounds of those, open it up to the audience, see if we can get some from the audience here. And we do have some really cool giveaways for anybody who comes up with a movie. And we call these movies puzzle pieces, so keep that in mind. So for my first puzzle piece here, I got a bunch of stuff I was thinking. I was thinking of some ahead of time. There's some obvious ones I think we could go to. There's some maybe out there ones, but I don't know. I wanted to start with Leprechaun for my first one here because we got a small little guy who is killing people all over the place, but is just super not scary looking at all, just super ridiculous looking. And I mean, that's part of the charm of this movie. It's part of the charm of the Leprechaun movies. This guy just like running around, being goofy, being silly, being a fun character with very ridiculous practical, facial effects and all that, all the makeup and all that stuff. And the way that they play with the size and everything like that, just and getting David Howard Thornton shrunken down into that format is just, I don't even know how they would go about planning and putting together those shots. Of course, it's different with Leprechaun, but I think Leprechaun is such a fun, ridiculous series that, again, like we're saying as we're starting this conversation out, never, ever, ever takes itself too seriously, and it's like a really good place to start with here. So, any Leprechaun fans on the panel over here?
Well, not particularly, but
Yes.
it brought it back the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah,
Definitely. That was
yeah.
one of the first references. Yeah, definitely.
All right, and Leprechaun, the one's in Vegas, I believe, the one movie in the series, but I gotta watch that one again. But yeah, so Leprechaun though, we're gonna kick it off with Deborah. What do you got? You got one you thought of?
You know, I never saw the Leprechaun movies, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
and there's definitely some common links there. I mean, like it's not only just like a mischievous little character, but it's the kind of evil mischievousness that is similar to that character.
And
right?
gleeful.
Yeah. And it almost reminded me a little bit of Gremlins.
Okay, that's a great one.
Gremlin,
Yeah.
Gremlin and Gremlins with the I think the main gremlin was called Spike, right? And just that kind of gleefulness.
Yeah.
Like when he would turn on the blender with, a frog in it or something, and he'd be like, hee, a little giddy about it. And I love the little sounds that he made.
Yeah.
Those are really cute. They kept making me think of my dog.
I love that. Yeah, the sounds are the best. And that's one thing that I think, the Terrifier series does it too. I mean, making this guy not speak is just so perfect for what David Howard Thornton does and for his like kind of mime-like acting. And it works so well here. And then adding on those little sounds make him very mouse-like, very, Disney-like, and or really any kind of cartoon series-like. And I thought that was like a really great choice here. And Gremlins also, you get all those little goofy sounds out of the characters as they're just getting up to all kinds of craziness. And I wonder if, obviously, this movie, the whole reason this movie exists is because the Steamboat Willie character is in the public domain, not Disney at large, obviously. I wonder who they could get for the sequel. Who else is coming into the public domain?
I think Batman just came up. The original Batman.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's a lot of elements that we associate with Batman that are kind of modern and not up for grabs. But the original, the Batman detective, is, I think, up for grabs this year.
Detective Batman investigating Steamboat Willie on the next boat here. Let's do it.
The Bat and the Rat.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Allie, let's go to one from you.
When you mentioned Leprechaun, it made me think of Chucky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Sure.
Anything
Little, yeah.
mischievous and
Yeah.
kind of
But the gore that was in there really made me think of like Hostel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just the over the top kind of just like, that's not even how that would work anatomically or like in reality. But then you just enjoy it. If you're a gore fan, the blood, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you can do a modern low budget horror movie and not just go for the gore, because that's what people are coming for. And it's like, let's be real here. We're not coming for the story necessarily.
Yeah.
We're going for laughs. We're going for gore. We're going for maybe a few scares and fun, basically, And
But even with it being low budget, the scope of the movie was pretty ambitious because, you had underwater stuff, you got explosions.
Yeah, so many different sets that they had to have.
You had, obviously you had some stagecraft going on because they used the volume I saw in the credits, like the LED screen. They were doing, they had a stack of compositors. So that gives you some clue to the movie making techniques of the, they're doing green screen, they're doing puppetry. I noticed he was credited as a puppeteer, but it wasn't like kind of traditional puppeting because it was like a person in a suit. Right?
Yeah.
So obviously like many techniques, but just generally the scope of the movie in general was like really ambitious, and I love seeing that as a filmmaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for a one location place to have that much scope. Like it could have been just stuck in one room or something the whole time. But they really went for it and used every bit of the animal, in this case a ferry, the Staten Island ferry, as it were. But you're absolutely right on that. Let's go to one from Patrick.
It reminded me so much of 80s horror films because 80s horror films still had a lot of the anarchic energy from the 70s.
Yeah.
But it also had a little bit tongue-in-cheek. They started being self-referential,
Yeah.
And so, besides Chucky, Gremlins, Leprechaun, the Ghoulies came out. The Ghoulies series came out in the 80s. And again, that was, crazy little critters, lethal little critters running around causing havoc and enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of Ghoulies too.
The face of the character, I was getting this is a bit of a deep cut, Wolfman vibes from Mos Eisley.
Okay. Yeah.
The Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French as well, yeah.
That goes in there too. Ghoulies is there hasn't been a Ghoulies in forever. What, I feel like that's a series that's due.
Yeah, I think it's due for a revival. I mean, I think people who remember it have fond memories of that series, so maybe, yeah. So who has the IP? I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Good
know we
question.
don't.
Remember in Battlestar Galactica, the original series, remember the kid had that scruffy android dog thing called Muffet or something?
Muffet, yeah.
And it was a bit raggedy, right? And the ears of the mouse reminded me of Muffet's ears because they were kind of raggedy.
It was quite raggedy.
Very
that
raggedy.
yeah.
Not as raggedy as Muffet, but I always thought Muffet was a bit too raggedy for a space dog.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of that. I never saw Battlestar Galactica.
You never saw Battlestar Galactica?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to see the space dog though. I would like to see that. I'm going to have to look him up on Google after this.
I loved it. The main protagonist, the Silence, they were too stupid, so they needed 3 of them to fly a ship. That was the gag about their intelligence.
Beautiful. Love it. I'm going to stick in that we're going a lot of classic slashers here. I'm going to bring Jason into it because I'm going to go with Jason Takes Manhattan because instead of it being in Manhattan, the whole damn thing happens on a boat. And so we're getting a lot of killing on a boat. But this is a very New York movie. That's one thing I was not expecting going into this. And I thought a lot of that was really fun. I thought, honestly, some of the best parts of this movie were the passengers just being super pro New York, like it was fucking New York, like that whole thing was like done really well and was really funny and added a lot of personality to this movie that otherwise could have just been a kill scene and then nothing happens and then kill scene. But there was actually like some fun character beats through all that stuff. And it kind of, it wasn't just for like a couple of little jokes. It actually like played through the entire arc of the characters and everything like that. And so you get a lot of New York movie. I haven't seen Jason Takes Manhattan in quite a few years. I don't remember there being that much character arc in that movie, but let's just say a lot of it takes place on a boat. There's a killer, and it's also a New York movie. So, yeah.
I was starting to wonder if they got paid for every time they said Staten Island Ferry. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's like we know where you are.
They get a free trip every time they mention it.
Yeah, that adds up.
It's got to be an even amount so they can get back home.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go to another one, Deborah.
Okay, so a movie moment that it reminded me of in the movie, and this is like super off the wall, but when she's hanging off the side of the boat at the end in the finale, and he puts the thingy out for her to grab. I was like, wow, is the mouse having a Rutger Hauer moment in Blade Runner, and discovered its humanity in that moment? It's
Yes.
like, if you could see the things I've seen. Cheese off the starboard of Orion or whatever. It was a great moment, but I was like totally back to Blade Runner.
I love it. Yeah, we get some catharsis there. Yeah, some very heavy acting from the rat there.
Yes.
Mouse. We keep calling him a rat. I think it's an easy mistake to make in this case, the way he's all ragged looking. But but Blade Runner, that whole sequence, that's a good pull. I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that. Ali, let's go to another one.
The way that it was taking itself not so seriously and all the one-liners and everything, I was getting Scary Movie vibes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because it's like they would always make fun of all these other things, and they were making fun of Disney in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of really fun like Easter eggs and stuff like that. And I think getting a character this iconic, like you have to, right? Like what are you doing? You're just doing a mouse, like a weird little mouse killer on a boat. Like you got to lean into all that stuff to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Scary Movie movies are just so packed with so many like ridiculous meta self-referential stuff and all that kind of things. And so I as many as you can fit in, it makes the movie so much more fun. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go to another one over there, Patrick.
Well, from producer's standpoint, I think I was thinking, it's just great for a horror film to be set in one isolated location. You have a boat, you're going to use every part of the boat, and so you don't have to, our first film we had like 30 locations, but this is amazing. One location, shoot the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And you feel the containment, which is great for horror. When I first came on, I go, I know this movie did not probably influence it, but I thought, this is the Voyage of the Demeter. Remember a couple years ago, instead of Dracula,
I was thinking about that too.
we
It's
have
showing the Dracula thing.
we have Killer Mickey. We have Killer Mickey.
Yeah.
So instead of Dracula, yeah. And no, I just think, and we have one of the producers of Stream, a slasher movie that came out last year, Marcus McGill here, and that was an isolated hotel, just like The Shining. No one can leave; they're stuck there, and it just makes for a nice claustrophobic setting for horror films. And I just think, I just want to say, it works.
And the atmospheric conditions of the kind of
Yeah.
mist and stuff added to the whole
Exactly.
kind of claustrophobia of it. Which I thought
Exactly.
was cool.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. We're talking about an indie movie here, and you kind of got to work with what you've got, and they do work with what they got here. They got this location. Let's use the location. Let's not, waste our money on other things and stuff like that. But yeah, Voyage of the Demeter is another one that I was thinking about. I was really disappointed in that movie, and like I like this movie
too.
more than Voyage of the Demeter, which is like a very stuffy, like good, you know what I mean, kind of movie, and like
Yeah, that Dracula was supposed to be scary, but it wasn't.
no, not one bit. Yeah.
Mickey's supposed to be fun, and
Yeah.
he was scary fun.
Yeah, Mickey did what Mickey was supposed to do.
Yes.
Dracula just flew at the screen a few times, but definitely. Everybody is they're doomed. Once they get on that ship, they're doomed. So absolutely. I'm gonna go actually to TV for my next one because I kept thinking of Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons.
Oh my
Love
gosh!
Itchy and
Yes.
Scratchy.
This felt almost more itchy than Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, I mean, we keep calling him a rat, so but like this like is very like raggedy and kind of deranged looking and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff,
No,
and you
that's a
kind of
good
get
one.
that, and some of those kills are just so inventively ridiculous, and he's just, again, we're talking about the gleefulness with Gremlins,
Yeah.
like Itchy and Scratchy. It's just so much fun when they kill, and so that's I love that they go in that direction, and it's not just like a dark death or something like. We could talk about some of the other IP slasher movies. They're just kind of like deaths. Like here, it's like they're having so much fun with it. They're just goofing around with the death. So I really like that. And that takes me back to any ultra violent cartoon like Itchy and Scratchy.
And in the Itchy and Scratchy, don't they have like a giant mallet?
They
and
do.
the OPS thingy that's
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
that mallet
Exactly.
shape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to TV as well.
Okay.
Scooby Doo.
Scooby
It
Doo.
had Scooby Doo vibes. It had Scooby Doo vibes.
Don't split up, and then they go in
Yeah.
like different
Yeah,
teams going to
and
different investigations. And
It just had that kind of vibe about it. It's hard to put my finger on what because it was nothing like really parallel. But I was just getting Scooby Doo vibes.
yeah, I mean, it's
Definitely see
a
that.
mystery.
yeah.
It's very clear to us what's going on, but to them, they don't know what the fuck's going on. So, But that's a really fun one. And I mean, anytime you get Scooby Doo vibes in a movie, that's a fun thing. So, Allie, let's go to one more from you.
I'm this is making me realize I need to go back and watch more horror films. Because I definitely thought of like in some of the shots, like The Hills Have Eyes, like just how it was, the griminess
Okay.
of it, like that kind of part is what came out to me.
Well, I mean, and that goes back to the indiness of
Yeah.
this, and like again, like trying to, do the most you can with a little bit. And The Hills Have Eyes is just an incredible amount of that, like just like really digging in and making atmosphere happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that movie just has so much of it, and I think that is just such a huge thing to take influence from if you're going to be making a small horror movie with limited resources. Go for that. You know what I mean? So I mean, that is definitely a good thing to be influenced by if you're making a small, ultra-violent horror movie. So hey, why not? I like it. Let's go to another one over there, Patrick.
Well, thinking about it now, if we're talking about it, I think we should. We should honor the debt we have to the old Looney Tunes Warner Brother cartoons.
Oh,
Because they were wild and crazy and just took it out there even more than the Disney cartoons.
Yeah.
And, it made violence funny. We laugh every time the coyote gets destroyed, killed by the Roadrunner again and again in one, couple minutes short. And I think it's influenced us so much since they came out, I don't know, in the 30s and starting in the 30s and the 40s, that we owe them such a debt. Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, how has it affected us? Influenced afterwards, all that's come afterwards.
yeah.
Including the cartoons, the animated cartoons that you were mentioning that are all about anarchy and things blowing up and stuff.
Yeah.
It's at the stage.
Absolutely. The anarchy of it all is just like, that's where so much of the fun comes from. And honestly, The Day the Earth Blew Up is like my favorite movie this year so far. It's so much fun. And shout out to that team, Ketchup Entertainment, for managing to get the Coyote vs. Acme movie. Hopefully we'll be seeing that next year.
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes influence, I think, is definitely clear here. And yeah, again, just that anarchy of it all, just the craziness of just like, let's just see what crazy shit will happen if we make a horror Mickey Mouse movie, Steamboat Willie, whatever his name is.
They really were leaning into it. I give them credit.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you totally understand why the filmmakers did this, because they're leaning into the IP, and also there's just such a thrill in subverting subject matter.
Yeah.
I mean, here is a cuddly little mouse mascot that we all know and love and is friendly and child friendly, and then you see it as a hideous monster killing people, and it's such a so far from the original IP that that becomes titillating in itself.
Sure.
Because it's like, wow, what's the mouse doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. I think there's definitely a direct line from like Looney Tunes to Taxi, the video game, where you could just drive around and plow into people for no reason.
Classic.
To this.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a through line. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, that is one of my favorite things, is when I'm doing this show and I can bring up Looney Tunes. It's like so much fun, because that just means the movie you just watched is batshit. Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. So I want to open it up to the audience, and if anybody has any, we do have some awesome signed posters to give out, but you've got to come up with something we haven't brought up here yet. So
I actually have 3.
Let's do it.
She's like, can I get 3 posters?
Questions.
Yeah. So the Titanic, which I feel like was kind of close, especially with him on the trash can at the end, because I was waiting for somebody to be floating on something at the end.
Sure.
Tom and Jerry. When you said Looney Tunes, I thought of Tom and Jerry because of that palette.
Yeah.
And then I also thought of Spring Breakers, which is kind of far off. But the Disney princesses gave me that like if they were to go horror too, it would be the Spring Breakers.
Amazing.
awesome.
Maybe a little Honora with the accents, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love Spring Breakers. It's so damn good, and yeah, those girls were just freaking ridiculous in
were
this
characters.
movie. But
That was so funny.
yeah, but yeah, I was also thinking of Titanic. That's great. It's I mean, it is on a boat, and it's like the biggest movie ever. So like you kind of got to reference it if you're gonna make a goofy, almost spoof-like movie. Like, why not? So anybody else got anything? We got right back here.
I think I also have 3.
Oh.
But it's Cape Fear.
Yeah.
The trapped on a boat with a killer thing.
Yeah.
I said this the last time that I was here. I also brought up Jurassic Park, but also Jurassic Park, especially, I think the most interesting thing for me was Mickey's backstory, where they're like, oh yes, we have this strange and unique creature that doesn't belong in our world, but now we're going to take it and exploit it.
Yeah.
And then now it's run amok and is killing
That's
everyone.
a good one, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the animation as well for the
The
for
added I was
backstory,
not expecting that.
so
That
cool.
was a good throw in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the on the end credits as well, the slides from the same artist, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very
The animation's a really nice touch, and of course to tie it back to it being based on what it's based on. But yeah, Jurassic Park is great. It's funny, we just did the Death of the Unicorn, and Jurassic Park was a puzzle piece on that one because there's a lot of similarities in that movie. So that's why I didn't bring that one up. But I was absolutely thinking about that. And then they have to turn the power back on to be able to survive, and there's definitely a lot of Jurassic Park in there. But I love the backstory here. I think you're absolutely right there. So that's a really good one there. Did you said you have one more?
Yes, the third, the Florida Project, in terms of this indie movie, taking a kind of subversive stance over the machine that is Disney.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true.
And so I just, appreciated their rising. The scene where he changes the price of the churros.
So
That is hilarious.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
For those
you.
$50, Yes.
And you're right. The title too is a reference to Disney. Florida Project was the original name for
Was
Disney
what the
World.
code name.
For
Yeah.
code name for
Oh,
Disney World.
I didn't know that.
And Steamboat.
Yeah. Very topical as well with Nora winning.
Yeah, I know. We're getting double Sean Baker references on this
yeah.
episode. I did not expect that going in.
Which is great. Which is
yeah. I love that, though. I'm so glad you brought that up about changing the price. I was like, hell yeah. You know, that's a good joke right there. Yeah, good stuff. Anybody else have anything? Anybody? Right here?
So I will say, well, this is at least what Mike and him told me, you know, with everything coming into the public domain with like Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan now, Popeye movie is about to come, well, actually it just released. So the Grimm Tales, you know, all what we grew up reading, the Grimm Tales, the scary version of those beloved stories.
Sure.
You know, grew up on and loving, like, for example, Sigourney Weaver's Snow White, you know, story, the creepy one from the 90s. And then Steve LaMorte and his wife, Amy, you know, did the mean one, like a year or two ago, you know, with David Howard Thornton and Fuzz and all those guys. So, yeah, it's just taking those twisted tales that we grew up loving and characters that we loving and just flipping it on his head.
Yeah, and
having fun with it.
I'm glad you're bringing that up about the Grimm Tales because you're absolutely right. Like, this is not new. Like, all of the classic tales are like told in different ways, and sometimes they're fun and kid friendly, and sometimes they're horrific. And a lot of that stuff went the opposite way and got cleaned up, and so now we're just going the other way. We're making things into horror. So, you know, it's like, why not? These are rich stories, and let's do some fun stuff with it. As long as it's done in a way that's entertaining, like, that's what we come for. So, you know, absolutely. Great stuff there. Anybody else have anything?
Well, one more thing with the technique, because somebody said they were trying to figure out how they did the scale with David. You know, Lord of the Rings perfected that with the hobbits. You know, if you remember in the Dwarves, where they would shoot the actors and then impose it or somehow with the other actors at their normal size. You know, so everybody could fit on the same screen together. So yeah, they use that technique. Not as clean, but you know.
Love that. As long as we're bringing up Lord of the Rings and Peter Jackson, I did have on my list Meet the Feebles, the Peter Jackson's early movie where it's like, we got applause in the audience. Yeah, it's so good. And as far as taking children's, you know, basically children's entertainment and turning it just horrific, you know, if you've never seen Meet the Feebles, just watch it. It's amazing.
I can't wait for the retelling of the Teletubbies.
Oh my gosh.
You know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it's definitely coming.
Tinky Winky already scares me.
Yes. That sun is scary.
Do we have anything else in the audience before we get into some closing thoughts here? Oh, one more.
Jaws for the beginning, where we don't see the creature, but we know it's there, and we're hearing that music. I mean, a ton of other movies do it, but I was because you know they're on a boat, so Jaws.
You say Jaws, I was thinking Alien, but
Yes,
same thing.
They did
So,
a pretty good job of not showing too much of the mouse.
yeah,
You know, they teased it,
yeah,
and that was good.
yeah, absolutely. Let's get into some closing thoughts. Deborah, let's start with you.
Oh, closing thoughts. I have none.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? It's a killer Mickey Mouse on a boat.
Yeah, no, it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Blood and gore. The mouse is hilarious. The mouse is the star, man. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
Every time he came on, he kind of giggled and stuff. I was like, yay, it's so great.
Yeah,
It's one of those movies where you're constantly wondering how the next person is gonna get,
Yeah.
you know, chopped up and finished off. And you know what's funny is ironically the next film that we're making is a horror, and it's called Scissor Mouth. And so when he gets stabbed in the head with the scissors, I'm like, scissors.
there you go.
But this isn't my go-to in terms of the horror genre. Like it's more gratuitous than what I usually gravitate towards. But I still appreciate the funny silliness of it, and you know, big up to the filmmakers for the ambition and scope.
Yeah, for sure. Allie, how about you?
Yeah, not much to expand upon, but I will say this movie had me guessing and surprised in a few places. So I'll give it that.
Right on. How about you over there?
As a longtime Muppet fan, any movie that uses puppetry, I mean, they were having, you know, it was so
Yeah.
cute. I loved it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And that's what I like about watching maybe lower budget movies. Because when you watch a high budget movie, you know everything now is CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing filmmakers become creative
Yes.
and how they
Yes.
create their scenes, you know, and maybe not just all use CGI, but you know they're using practical effects with the puppets and stuff. I love seeing that. So you know that gives it an added texture, and it just makes it more relatable, at least to us, because of our lower budgets. And I you know I really appreciate that, seeing that on the screen.
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
To the practical effects, I really appreciated that they went there with the blowjob scene. You
I
don't.
was wondering who was gonna say it.
Yeah, you don't expect them. You expect them to cut away or something. You know,
Yeah.
imply what happens, but no, we go there.
Whenever I see something like that, I go, imagine if that was your job. Okay,
Yeah.
make this penis. You know, okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't
your
a.
job, yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't a gag about Dickie Mouse.
Dickie Mouse. I love it. Yeah. They got their money's worth out of whoever invented that
Yes.
thing. So great
That's
stuff.
that's the souvenir to keep from the movie, right? If you're gonna keep one prop,
Yeah.
if you're gonna sneak one prop
Yes.
home, just put a dick in your pocket.
Yeah.
Before we get to some plugs and all that stuff, Matt Levy, would you be down to chat a little bit real quick?
Sure thing.
Okay. Would you be cool just kind of hanging out here? You could kind of talk into my mic with me here. So we only have 4 mics here. But this is Matt Levy, a producer on the film, and so happy to have him here today. First up, I mean, we were talking all of these movies. Were there any that kind of surprised you that we brought up, or that you just specifically appreciaed?
I mean, we always thought Gremlins. We always Titanic is a great reference. I wish we could have done more Titanic. It was just not the right genre over there. I'm surprised Speed 2 Cruise Control was not mentioned
Good stuff. Good stuff. I love that. I
over
love
there.
that.
But I think you hit all the right nails on the head over here, and it's and just hearing you guys talking, especially about the penis scene in general.
Yeah.
I have so many pictures of myself using that prop penis as a phone, and you know, and just doing all these great wacky things. So it's just warming my heart when you're mentioning the blowjob scene in general.
Who's not gonna play with a dick when they have one?
You got it right there. What obviously, you know, this character, Steamboat Willie, is, you know, public domain now. You can make this movie, but was there anything you kind of ran up against with like rights or anything like that here?
No, there's nothing that director or producing team really ran into in terms of rights, because everything, you know, was very, very careful. And, you know, in the last film that this producing team did was The Mean One,
Right.
which we worked on and distributed worldwide, and that was done as parody. So they're very familiar with it. And this was 10 times easier to do than The Mean One, because you know, we could be so freely in terms of saying Willie's name and you know, and some of the bigger references, but so
Like
far.
Walt.
Yeah, I mean,
Walt, yeah.
yeah, Disney has known about the film for a very long time, and they are just you know, and luckily, you know, everything is pretty a-okay right now. And you know, so we're crossing our fingers.
That's where the E&O insurance comes in.
Indeed.
That's right.
Well, we
yeah.
know Disney right now is not considered cool. You know, having something like this makes the Disney IP cool, even though it's no longer their IP.
Right, absolutely.
At least to me.
Exactly. It's the two plans originally. We were gonna release this theatrically against Mickey 17 and the same weekend.
Oh,
we thought
funny.
that'd be fun. Mickey versus Mickey.
Mickey, yeah.
And you know, we also got proof for 40X screens against Mickey 17 as well, which kind of you know, rocked Warner Brothers a bit. And then we considered opening up the same weekend as Snow White just for fun.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
And then we decided just to open it up in its own weekend while Snow White was still playing. So it's referenced together in lots of reviews. So it's we still
Awesome.
keep it all within the same family.
More disturbing, Willie or those CGI dwarves?
The dwarves.
That's the
The dwarves.
Worst by far.
Yeah, I think so. Any questions from you guys right over here before Let him go.
I'm itching to know the budget.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I don't know, that's good. Yeah.
You
But
did
that
it.
might-
Yeah,
that
yes,
might-
yeah.
that might be like closely guarded secret.
I'll tell you the ferry, which was at Mary, is actually Pete Davidson, Colin Jost decommissioned Staten Island ferry.
I read that. Yeah.
And I'd say that's probably the most expensive thing within the budget.
Gotcha. That makes
can see
sense.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like we were saying, you make use of that thing. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, back to the influences real quick. Are there any other things that you kind of went into this project like looking at as like kind of guideposts and what you were trying to do here?
I mean, we just wanted to be the very first film of these public domain series that knew what we were. That didn't take itself seriously, which was mentioned many times by you guys, and really appreciate you getting that. Is we know it's ridiculous, we know it's fun, we want the audience to have fun with us. I think all the other public domain, there's the rip-off public domain film. Sorry, I'll say it. The Mousetrap is just a cheap cash grab rip-off that shouldn't good for them, but no one likes it. So in this one, it took 2 years to put together from concept because we wanted to make it have some sort of a really stellar production value for a low budget film, and actually give it a proper story and give it a proper jokes and proper effects, and so we could have easily just rushed it out to get out before any of these other copycats are out there, and we decided not to. We decided to take our time, let it stand on its own 2 feet. The fact that the Terrifier team is also producers behind it with us, and once Terrifier 3 opened, suddenly the whole world came knocking on our door,
Sure.
wanting to license it, and luckily we're able to get it in dozens of territories. So we're opening UK this week, Russia this week, Poland this week. And then next month we'll be over in France and Africa,
Wow.
and so the world has embraced this film that is not part of any franchise that stands on its own, and that's a testament to independent film in general that we can still do
Amen.
that,
Amen.
and we
Absolutely.
can still celebrate that.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, kudos.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were able to be here. This is
Absolutely,
great.
no, thank you so much for having this during CinemaCon, so I can come out and watch the magic itself.
Wonderful.
And now I'm a new fan and
Beautiful.
a new listener to the podcast. So thank you again, and thank you all for such kind words and just getting giddy this whole last half hour.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Cheers,
much.
guys.
All right. So, Deborah, let's start with you. Where can people find you and everything you're up to?
Oh, sure. I'm very Googleable, Deborah Richards. But I also have a new YouTube that I've been doing for a month or so. I've been putting out like 30-minute to 3-hour videos every day of my life as a film director. So if you go to YouTube, director Deborah Richards.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Allie?
You can find me on Instagram, the Gran Finali, and also my podcast is on my Instagram or Desert Waves. We're on Film Freeway. If any filmmakers out there want to submit, yeah. We have a Las Vegas block that we highlight local Las Vegas filmmakers and student films, but we also take films from all over.
Awesome. Very cool. Patrick, how about you?
Well, I want to tout our company, 1905 Films, the one I have with Deborah. We have a YouTube channel where you can see some of our shorts and some of our trailers. Most of the stuff we do on Instagram, both at 1905 Films and under our movies, MoveMeNoMountain.com and Shaken and Stirred the movie. Shaken and Stirred the doc on Instagram.com.
And why is it called 1905?
Because that is the year Las Vegas was founded.
Attaboy.
We're a very Las Vegas-centered film. Our next film isn't, but we love this town. And if you watch our movies, you watch our shorts. Hey, I know that place. Hey, I know that place. If you live here, so yeah, 1905. We love Vegas.
Right on, right on. Well, Piecing It Together, you can find at Piecing Pod on all the socials. We'll be back here at Downtown Cinemas next month for Thunderbolts. And we'll be announcing a couple other shows coming up soon. But also I wanted to mention just real quick, a little cheap plug. I have a new album of comedy that's all about my pets. It's our 4th album, The Pup Pups. And if you pre-order the album by National Pet Day, which is next Friday, you can get your pet included on a special bonus song. These guys have gotten it done before. So it's just letting you guys all know about that. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much for being here. That's our show for tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on, everybody.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Screamboat. Thank you so much to Downtown Cinemas for having us back out. Thank you to my guest panel, Deborah Richards, Patrick Wirtz, and Ali the Grand Finale. Thank you so much to everyone who showed up for the show. You know, the hardest thing when it comes to doing things is getting people to show up to stuff. And so if we could keep getting people to show up to these things, we're going to do so many more of them. I've got a couple more on the way. We'll be announcing, might even be announced by the time that this show goes up, but just in case, I won't say it yet. But we've got more shows that we will be announcing, so keep an eye out at Piecing Pod on all the socials, and of course piecingpod.com. But we'll be doing a lot more live shows, and we love doing them. They're so much fun, and we hope that you'll come out to some of the future ones. And yeah, thank you so much for being out there. If you're enjoying Piecing It Together, make sure you are subscribed. That way you'll find out about all the episodes, because we do the live shows, but we also do regular episodes too that I record, via the internet, and get guests on from all over the world. But I love having Las Vegas on the live shows as well. So lots of voices to get on this show and lots of movies to cover. If you ever want to join me for an episode, get in touch, either for an online one, or if you're in Las Vegas and you're listening, would love to get you on one of the panels at some point. So do get in touch. I love hearing from people. Also, if you thought of any puzzle pieces for Screamboat or any of the movies we've covered recently, get in touch and let me know. I always read the listener puzzle pieces on the next trailers episode. So love hearing from people. Get in touch with me. So I got to close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And I've got my own set of animated cartoon animals that do crazy, wacky stuff called the Pup Pups, my comedy, novelty, silly, ridiculous rock band with my pets. And we have a new album coming out. It's called Another One Already, but you just had one, because our last album just came out in December. But this is our 4th album, and honestly, it's the best one yet. It is so much fun. I had a blast putting this thing together with Harvey and the rest of the gang. And if you get your pre-order in by this Friday, April 11th, which happens to be National Pet Day, I will include your pet on the special bonus song that I'm recording next weekend to finish up the album before it goes out to print. So that's the puppups.bandcamp.com if you want to get your order in. You could also just contact me on, any social media that you can find me on. Contact me, and we could, work out an order another way if you don't want to do the whole Bandcamp thing. But you've got 1 week to do it. So get in touch with me. Go to the puppups.bandcamp.com. Let's play a song from that album, Another One Already. But you just had one to close out the episode. Let's see, which song should I play? All right, I'm going to play a song about Harvey and how crazy he goes for snackos. It's called Snack Man. This one's ridiculous, and I love it so much. So this is Harvey singing Snack Man, actually rapping Snack Man, and then he starts singing in the 3rd verse. But anyway, this is Snack Man from the new The Pup Pups album. I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
He's a snack man. He's a snack man.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, look at me. I'm a crazy little monster, a puppy doggy, and you know I'm rapping. And I'm also hip hopping, and I'm grabbing any food that mom and daddy be dropping. If I see a snack, I want it. If I want it, then I get it. I'm the goodest boy ever, and don't you forget it. Been a minute since I ate, don't leave me in the dark. Yo, I'll give you 5 seconds, and it's time for Barco Barco. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
He's a snack man.
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
He's this crazy little dog, tell me what I'm gonna do. He's been barking and barking, but he's just so cute. He's so bad, he's good, he's so hot, he's cool. And when he asks for snacks, you better not act a fool. A little extra kibble or a variety snack. If it's crunchy and tasty, it'll do for a snack. But the Barco starts if he doesn't get his way. The little boy's a tax man, and now I gotta pay.
He's a snack man.
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
He's a snack man.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, you know I love those snackos. Yes, indeed I do. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And I don't want just one of them snacks. I need 22. And if you run out of those snacks, you better get your butt to the store. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I know you already gave me some snacks, but I want a whole lot more.
Snack man.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.
I meant to tell everybody that they don't take this movie serious.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a mouth.
That's our show.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Mickey
Only
Rat.
one
Everybody
not
loves
taking
Mickey
it
Rat.
Mickey Rat. The whole version of Mickey. It's the
Mickey
whole
Rat's
version of
everyone's
Mickey.
favorite.
Yeah.